Hello, I'm Eric Singer, your host for Switchbacks FC, everything definitive that is the Switchbacks. And joining me, of course, is Coach Steve Trittschuh with Switchbacks FC. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, I was hoping for a three-peat that we'd be talking about 3 wins in a row, a disappointing road loss. Let's talk about what happened in Austin.
Yeah, it's always funner to do these things, more fun to do these things when you win. But we took a lot of positives out of the game. We didn't have a very good start, and I kind of, at halftime had to lay into them a little bit because the first 20-25 minutes we were flat. We just didn't come out the way we have been in the games, and it cost us. 9th minute, they scored a goal on us. But after that, after about the 25th minute mark, we started getting momentum and we created some chances. Second half, I thought, was one of the best halves we've played, actually. I mean, we created a bunch of chances. David Gorick, our goalkeeper, kept us in the game at 1-0 because they did have a couple chances when we started pushing guys forward. But no, all in all, we took a lot of positives out of it, but that start really hurt us the other night.
All right, let's roll the highlights and take a look at some of the things that you were just talking about the lack of momentum in that first half and then grabbing that momentum in the second.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we didn't have a very good start. I thought we were a little flat. We didn't have the energy we had at the beginning of the game, and this is the goal. We just, we missed a few tackles. Then when the ball gets wide, we just don't get enough pressure on the ball as the ball's played in. He's got too much time to play the ball in. Bad marking in the back, and that's what killed us. And one more chance like this in the first half that Austin had, and they could have got a goal on it. But like I said, we got the momentum back. We got some good possession. We created things going forward. Defensively, we were better as a unit. So, like I said, we took a lot of positives out of it, but in the end, we lost the game.
And one thing, as I was looking at the stats, I mean, you had more attempts on goal than the Aztecs did. So I mean, that should be a positive to think about.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I look at the game and here's one chance from Shintaro. I mean, it's an indirect free kick, and he just misses it. I mean, if this is on target, the goalkeeper has no chance. And we had a few more like this. I mean, the second half, we changed a few things. We changed players. We changed 2 players at halftime, actually, and they came on and did very well. And I thought we controlled pretty much the majority of the second half. But unfortunately, we didn't score, and they scored 1, and that was it.
Now, you were talking about the fact that you changed players in that second half. How did that change the dynamics and the intensity of the game?
Well, I felt we were a little lax on the left side with Clay. I mean, Clay didn't have the best game, and I mean, he's been one of the consistent players the first few games. So he was just off his game a little bit, so we changed him out, and then we brought Marty Maben out and put Ronnie Arguez on, and he really helped control the midfield. So it was just a couple changes there, and then we brought Saeed Robinson on also, and he changed the game with his speed. But it's hard on a field like this for him because he needs some space to play, and that's one of the reasons why he didn't start, because we felt as the game might be open up in the second half that he would be better. Because he needs that space to use his speed, but he came on and did great. So like I said, we took the positives out of it, and then we'll get back to work this week.
And at the end of the game, it was 1-0 Austin winning. Previously, it was 2-0 Austin winning. So I mean, it is going the right way as far as that goes, as far as your defense. But as you were saying, the momentum had to change, and you had to pick up the momentum.
Yeah, and I felt if we would have had a great start, I think we would have won the game, or at least got a point out of the game. But it was that start that killed us. And some of these guys are young, and they have to learn how to motivate themselves to get into the game. And we just came out flat. And I don't know if it's because of the field. I mean, that has a lot to do with the weather. It was warm. We haven't really played in a warm weather game yet, but whatever it was, I told them in training this week we've got to fix that. And we've had good training this week so far, and I looked for them to turn around Saturday.
Let's talk about that good training. How do you rebound for something like this, and what are you focusing on during training this week?
Well, just to have that intensity from the beginning, and the guys have done great, and it's funny with this group too. I mean, the losses, the 3 losses that we've had, that next week of training's been great, and so they know what they need to do. Now it's just taking that into the game, and I think on Saturday we'll have a better start.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. And in just a moment, we're going to speak with one of the Switchbacks players as we continue Switchbacks FC, and we'll be right back with more everything definitive Switchbacks FC.
Switchbacks on the attack. Shot right side to goal!
Be a part of the action at Sand Creek Stadium as your Colorado Springs Switchbacks take on teams like the Sounders 2 and the Galaxy 2.
Through ball and opportunity.
inaugural season continues May 9th against the Portland Timbers 2. Join the excitement. Join the climb at switchbacksfc.com.
Welcome back to Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC, everything you need to know about the Switchbacks. And speaking of which, I have David Liligoric, who is the goalie. And first, before we go to the game, let's learn a little bit about you. Where are you from? Where'd you play, etc.?
Well, I was born in Moundsville, West Virginia. Moved to Florida when I was about 2. And then since then, I've kind of lived around the world. Played in Thailand, was one of my first contracts. Played there for 3 years, and then I went to Sweden directly after that for a year. And then last year, I spent a year in Ottawa, playing for Ottawa Fury.
Now, Dave, tell me about, we always talk about high altitude training, especially here in the Colorado Springs area. Tell me how that's affected you and how you promoted yourself, physically to get ready and be acclimated for that.
Well, I'd never really experienced a high altitude, so this was like a shock. The first week I was here, I honestly almost passed out. I think my first day of training, I was telling myself, please do not pass out. That would look really bad for the coaches. And then the week following that, it was pretty rough, and then I had a couple of small injuries that kept me sidelined. So, but eventually I acclimated, and I actually feel really strong when we do go to another city. And so I think that it's helped me in the end.
All right, speaking of another city, you went to Austin. That's low altitude coming from Colorado Springs area, high altitude. All right, let's go look back. Amanda, go ahead and roll the tape, and let's focus on what we're seeing right now. Go ahead and explain what's happening.
Yeah, so this was just, it's in the 8th minute. I think, like Steve said, we started very slow. We started very sloppy. And, we had a number of defenders back there. But I think we just weren't aware. We weren't focused, early in the game. And the guy snuck in, a little bit bad defending, and he, got a good header in the right spot. And it was unfortunate, but we definitely should not have let that happen that early in the game, especially.
That goal scored on you, that moment when you saw that ball go into the net. Tell me what you're thinking.
I was frustrated because that was probably one of the first moments of the game where I was getting contact with near the ball.
Right.
The ball was up the field and that, and generally for a goalkeeper, you want your first moment interaction in the game to be a positive one. So the first moment I had was a free header, perfectly placed in the corner, and then I was, a bit frustrated, especially at our defender who didn't track, but at the same time, I knew that it was that early in the game that I knew with our team we could make a strong comeback, so I didn't want to lose focus for the players.
All right, well, Dee, tell me, how do you bounce back from that? The coach was saying that, second half, more momentum, a different player switch as far as the switchbacks. Tell me how you personally bounce back, and maybe talk to some of our fans as well who maybe, who are playing goalie and are going, how do I bounce back for something like this?
Yeah, well, especially for goalkeeper, because everything's mental, right? So it's very easy to get inside your head and to kind of introvert, and for me, it's just to kind of stay positive for myself and to keep the confidence showing so that my players also have confidence in me and they start to build confidence for the team as well. If they see me not very affected and I'm still fighting throughout the game, then I think it inspires them to do the same, and we all keep fighting to the 90th minute.
Speaking of inspiration, we're focusing on this game. We're talking about the second half, the momentum switch. What did you see on the field? Because, you almost become sort of, while the coach is directing everyone, you're almost becoming watching the whole field in its entirety, normal time.
Yeah, I think I have to give credit to Steve for making the changes he did at halftime, tactically, and then also player, substitutes, because I could tell, the players that came on brought a lot of energy. The players that continued playing went in the locker room, calmed down a little bit, and I could see a complete 180 of energy coming out from the halftime. So for me, it was great to see that, because I saw a whole 45 minutes was a completely new game. And for me, I always thought we were going to win until the 90th minute.
Mm-hmm. Now let's look forward. Obviously, these are the lowlights. We're going to put that behind us. We're looking forward. Next game. Tell me what you're thinking about.
Obviously, we don't want to change too much. We wanted to stick with what we did that was working for the 2 games that we won and for the second half of last game. So, we're going to continue hashing out the same things that have been working and work on some of the problems and mistakes that we made, and just continue to work hard, and just believe that we have a great team and a great set of players.
And you do. Anything you'd like to add to the fans?
Yeah, I just want to say, it's a great turnout for the last home game, and I really hope to see even bigger, more support, and we hope to get more points in the away trip this weekend.
All right, thank you very much, and it was a pleasure meeting you, and
Thank you so
good
much.
luck in your next game. And of course, we're going to be back with Coach Steve Trittschuh to go forward. We're going to be focusing on the next game, what happens, what kind of strategy, and how we're going to look for a W. We'll be right back with more Switchbacks FC.
At Kaiser Permanente, everything you need is under one roof. Another way care and coverage together makes life easier. Okay, a little easier. Become a member of Kaiser Permanente, because together we thrive.
I'm Eric Singer, Gazette.com, and welcome to Switchbacks FC, your source for everything that is the Switchbacks. And now we're looking ahead to the next, hopefully, W in the column for the Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Joining me now, Coach Steve Trittschuh, and we're looking ahead, and we're looking at Arizona United SC. Let's roll the tape to get a feel for who you're going to be facing next.
Yeah, this is their game last weekend. They played Portland, which actually these two teams are our next two opponents. So it was kind of good to watch, watch this tape here, because I've got to see both of them for these next 2 weeks. But Arizona's a decent team. They've actually lost 2 games, their last 2 games. But for this game, they really had the good play in it, and they actually should have won the game. Portland had a couple counterattacks that they scored goals on, but Arizona really had the momentum in the game. So, it's going to be a tough game. They have some good individual players. A couple of their forwards they're very good speed, very strong players, and so, it's not going to be easy, but we have a good game plan for them this week.
And speaking of that game plan, key players to hone in on Arizona's team that you've been looking on tape and also going to be focusing on.
Yeah, I would say their top 2 players are Long Tan. He's the number 29. He's their target man up top, and then Dennis Chin is on the left side. He's got very good speed, very good technically. Likes to take players one-on-one. So if we can shut those 2 players down, I think we'll have success. But like I said, they're organized in the back, except for this play here that they let the guy free. But they've got some good quality players back there. So it's not going to be an easy game. But none of these games are easy, right. and that's the way this league is. And but we've competed every game, and I expect the guys to come out and compete this game.
Bouncing back from Austin, first half, not much momentum, not much intensity. Second half, you had that intensity, you had that momentum, you had shots on goal. That wasn't the key. So how do you bring back on from that first half that you're forgetting about to the second half and bringing it on this field? And
that's what we've been concentrating on in this week in training. Keeping that intensity the whole time. And it's the field we're playing on. It's where the San Francisco Giants have their spring training. So the field looks very nice. It's green. It's nice, and it's a big field. It's wide. It's almost as wide as our field here in the Springs. It's just a little bit shorter, but it's going to suit our game better because the guys have a good passing game going now, and with our possession. So it's going to help us to play on a good surface like this. So I'm really excited to go there, and I hope that the guys better be excited to go there.
And one thing I noticed when we were talking about in our first segment, and also we're speaking with the player, that lack of intensity in that first half, you weren't afraid to make changes, and that's the key. And I think that's the key to a good coach. I'm not saying it just because you're here, but that's the key to a good coach. You're not sticking with what doesn't work.
Right, and that's the thing about this league. I mean, it's different than other leagues. We're allowed 5 substitutes, so if I feel it, I'm going to use it. And the guys, almost every game right now that we've played so far, the guys that have come on have added to the game. And so, I'm not. If guys are having a tough game, then I'm not afraid to change them. That's just the way this game is, but they've got to understand that we need a good start, and I think I've drilled it into their head this week, and it's going to happen.
Now, you're a professional. The people who you're coaching are also professionals. I mean, we just looked up in the stands just moments ago. They're going to be having Arizona fans. Yeah. How do you drill it into your head? I mean, because you were obviously a professional player as well. When you're on the road, to really keep up that intensity and really focus in and not let the fans get you. Because, I mean, in any sport, fans do get you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but it's something that you can feed off of, too. I mean, they had 6,000 at this game, so I'm hoping they'll have that many there. I mean, because the guys, they like to play in front of crowds. And, I mean, when I was a player, I loved playing in front of crowds, no matter if it was a home or away. And they should be feeding off that. So, but we've done well. I mean, the games that we've played away, I don't think it's the fans have affected these guys. So I don't expect it to go down to Arizona and affect them.
All right, now speaking of fans, what would you have to say to your fans? so they can maybe give you some positive vibes as you're heading to Arizona?
Yeah, so I mean, I think they're going to have some watch parties. So come out. I believe the game's 8:30 this time here, 7:30 down in Arizona. Arizona United is a very good team. They've got some guys that have played in the MLS. They've got some players that were on USL professional teams last year that were all league. And so it's going to be an exciting game. So come out and help us in the heat down there.
Absolutely. Great luck to you, Coach, and your team. The Colorado Springs Switchbacks going on the road to face this team, Arizona United. Should be a great one. And of course, we'll bring you what happens afterwards when they return. For everything that is Colorado Springs Switchbacks, it's right here on Gazette.com. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Eric Singer, and guess what? We'll see you next time.